Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. I'm so glad you could join me today. I have a very pretty card. I'm working out of the new catalog, and today's card is from something called Sand and Sea. And it is absolutely a stunningly beautiful suite with underwater kinds of themes, but it's very sophisticated. It's really a very pretty set, and there are stamps and there are dies and there's an embossing folder. And today I am using the embossing folder and the stamp. No, I'm not even using the stamp set. I'm just using the embossing folder. And then there's something in this suite called Pearlescent Specialty Paper. And it's very affordable. It's 2 sheets, but it's only $4. And the pearlescence is on both sides of the paper, and it can be stamped on and it can be written on. And so I've done my card out of that. Let's just get started and I can show you what I've done. Okay, here is my card. Now, I hope you can see the detail. I'm going to bring that up a bit here so you can see the detail on that embossing folder on the pearlized paper. Isn't it just gorgeous? And I've used a pool party base, and then I used soft seafoam. And I'm going to change it up for this one. I don't think the soft seafoam adds that much. I've got a pool party base that is 8.5 by 5.5 scored and folded at 4 1/4. And then this is that beautiful pearl paper, pearlescent paper. And you can see that it is double-sided, so it's got that beautiful pearl finish on both sides of the paper. And I kept out a little piece of the pearl paper here so I could show you that you can write on this. So this can be the inside of the card. And what I did on this one was I learned something doing this one. You can see here that my sentiment isn't quite right. It's smudged off a little bit there, and then on the inside it's also a little bit lighter. And the only thing I found on this paper is that it takes a bit for the ink to really dry. So if you're doing this, you want to do it ahead of time, or you want to use your heat tool. And it's surprising how long you have to use your heat tool to really get this to dry. So I tried a couple of techniques. I used some regular like copy paper and very carefully, well, first I dried it with my heat tool, then I blotted it to pull off any excess ink, and then I hit it with my heat tool again. And eventually it dries, so you want to either stamp it and let it sit for a while, or use your heat tool very aggressively. But it does do that, and I would say the same thing for the writing on your sentiment, although this is not smudging, and I just did that. So it looks like that kind of ink will work just fine. And if you accidentally smudge it when you don't mean to, like here's a little spot where I've got a little bit of the pool party ink. This is a little alcohol on a baby wipe. And if you catch it quick before it dries, you can clean that right off. So there's some very interesting properties to this paper. And so a little smudge looks like it would be very easy to clean up. And let's just get on with the card and show you. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm eliminating this soft seafoam layer, and I am using this ribbon, which is Pool Party, and it's sheer ribbon, and boy is it sheer. In fact, I used 2 layers of it to get the color I wanted here. You could even add a third one, but I thought 2 was sufficient. So I have 2 pieces of this beautiful pearlescent paper, cut 4 by 5 and a quarter. I was messing around with sizes when I made this one, and in the end, it really wasn't necessary. Showing more of this embossed piece, I think, is more effective anyway. So I have my card base, and then I have just simply these 2 pieces of the pearlescent paper. Now, because of the problem with the stamping, I have already stamped one from before and heat set it and did all of that, and now that's on there and it's pretty permanent. That's not going anywhere. I used the stamp set Positive Thoughts for both of these messages. This one says sending positive thoughts and feel good wishes, and then this one, which is the message for the front, says friends like you mean more every year. And I just stamped that on a little piece of pearl paper, and then I snipped it down so that it made a rectangle here and cut it to size. I'm sure we have a rectangle stitch die that would do that, and that might be more attractive. Okay, so what I've already done, let me show you this embossing folder. Okay, and I left this little piece of paper in here because I wanted to show you, but this is that beautiful embossing folder. Isn't that just gorgeous? And it makes this, and I thought it was so much more impressive in a little bit larger piece. So I went ahead and did this one ahead of time. And you know, when you cut from 12 by 12, if you cut 2 pieces 4 by 5 and a quarter, you're left with a piece on the bottom, and that's where this piece came from. And so I put it in just this way, and I'm going to show you. I wanted to leave it in here so I could show you what it looked like when I put it in like this. And that was how I got this little bit down here, by setting it in like this and then sort of fussy cutting around these flowers here, or these leaves here, and then on down around the shell. So if you want this kind of an effect, you need to put the bottom of the shell right up next to the end of your paper, and make sure you go high enough to catch some of these leaf fronds here so that you can cut on and around, and I'll show you the fussy cutting on this one. But I went ahead and did my pieces a little bit more than I would ordinarily ahead of time. And then I used sequins from Whale of a Time, and they've got these sequins that are this beautiful kind of blue-green color in there, and I thought they went particularly well. So this is an extremely fast and simple card. I have a knot bow here that is prepared, and I have a couple of strips of ribbon. So the very first thing we're going to do is put our ribbon on this piece. And I might just, since this is the only layer on the front, I might just set this up on dimensionals. So what I'm going to do is grab my silicone mat here and add some snail, and I use dot runner for ribbon just because, and so I'm going to add some snail along the edge on the back on both sides of this. Then I'm going to take my 2 ribbon pieces, and I'm going to put a little bit of snail along this ribbon on the back so that it will stay put on the front of my card. And you can see I put this ribbon right about here, a little under half and a little more than a quarter, maybe a third of the way up, and then just secure these ends around the back. Then I needed to add more glue to the back of the ribbon because that was awfully pale, if you see here, and it does allow you to see more of the embossing underneath, your choice, but I decided I wanted a little bit more color intensity, so I'm adding a second layer of the ribbon. And I'm going to do that exact same thing. I'm going to put this right over top of this other piece of ribbon and set that down and secure those ends back around the back. All right, then I've got my knot bow here, and I've got some glue dots, and I'm putting glue dot on the back side of my knot bow and setting it more to one side. Then I'm taking another glue dot. There's always one end of this ribbon that doesn't want to cooperate, and I'm going to stick it down underneath the knot bow and on that little piece of ribbon tail there on one side, and that should hold that in place. Then using again my glue dots, I'm going to take this piece out of here and move my embossing folder out of the way. Okay, there we go. This is all ready to go. And I think at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add this to the card. And I am going to raise this panel on dimensionals. Now, this paper isn't terribly heavy, so I'm actually going to use quite a few dimensionals on this so that it's fully supported. All right, so now we just need back our card base, and this piece is ready to go on the front of our card. I'm laying that down very gingerly until I check my margins and then put that into place. Oops, with a dimensional, I'm not sure where it came from, but I'm going to stick it in that corner. Okay, there we go. And isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, I just love this embossing folder. And I love this paper. And I'm thinking this embossing folder would be great fun on some of those metals that we have now that I think are carrying over from year end. Those brushed metals, they might be kind of really pretty. Okay, so my message then, let's see, my message is here, and I had taken the glue dots off, so I just put it on a piece of that wax paper stuff. And on that one, I put the message down here. It could go up here, it could go here, it could go right under here. And I was thinking it might be kind of interesting to put it right in here rather than all the way down on the bottom. And that focuses your attention in this area. Now then, on the sequins, I have pulled out and set apart several of these sequins, and I have my pick tool here. So we'll see if I've got enough to do what I want to do here or not. So I put some on the inside as well. I may have to grab a few more. Okay, so we're going to start these, if placed exactly right on the glue dot, these sequins fit right over the top of the glue dot. And then you can pick up the whole assembly and put it into place. And I'm just going to dot a couple around here. Let's see. They're so pretty. And maybe one more here on the front of the card. Maybe right down here. And there, I think that's just lovely. Very, very pretty. Okay, now for the inside of the card, I have my piece that's got my sentiment on it, and then I'm going to show you how I fussy cut around this. This is this big conch shell, and then this is that other shell. I don't know what kind it is, but what I did was I came up around here and around these leaves on the top, and I think on this one I included a couple of the little bubbles, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to come down here, and then I'm going to come around and capture that bubble, and then I'm going to get some of these leaves here and maybe catch that bubble and gently come down. Now what I'm going to do is go all the way around the shell right to the end, because I know this piece is 4 inches and will fit across the bottom here. So it's really not difficult fussy cutting. Not difficult at all. There we go. All right, so there is my piece. Very little waste. And then this is going to go right here on the bottom here of the inside of the card. That is going to be gorgeous. Going all the way across, and I don't have any of that green to distract my eye. I thought it would look good, and in the end I wasn't crazy about it. Now put that into place so it goes from end to end on there and sits right along the bottom of the card. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. And then I put a couple of these sequins down here on the bottom. So let me grab my glue dots again here, and again right on top of the glue dot, pick up the whole thing and put one there. And I've got another one. I think I'm going to go ahead and add both of them. And by the way, these sequins are in the Whale of a Time mix. And I also found this same color in the heirlooms. What's it called? Woven thread sequin assortment. So this blue for this is in both this and the Whale of a Time sequin mix. So lots of place to get some of these sequins. You know, I might just put this one up here. There we go. There we go. All right. And now this is ready to go on my card. Let me grab my seal. This paper is just to die for. Okay, and then this on the inside of my card. And there we go. Isn't that gorgeous? And you'll have to tell me, I think it actually looks better without the layer of soft seafoam. But I was playing around with this, and wouldn't that be beautiful on this seaside spray? And I think it would also be beautiful on this petal pink. And there's different ribbons that we can use with different ones of these. I think it'd be beautiful even on old olive or a granny apple I think that it would be a fun note card set also, that if you did them on just 4 or 5 different colored bases, that they would be pretty spectacular. Anyway, that is my project for the day. By the way, Happy New Year. This one is going to post on New Year's Day. So thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator, or you could join my team. We have a fabulous offer coming in on starting January 5th, which is the normal $125 worth of product for $99, plus you get 5 packages of designer series paper. And so it's a great deal. And if you're curious at all, please give me a call or drop me a note, and I'll get back to you with the details. So that's it. This is the one we made today. And again, you'll have to let me know what you think. I think I prefer this one. It's just simpler and maybe a little bit more elegant. I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!